If you want my honest opinion of Monday's episode of Fox's The Following, Season 3, Episode 8, entitled Flesh and Blood, I don't know what to say, man. Like, every time there was a tad bit of downtime, something kept happening. But I will say that Theo is a cold-hearted snake and has no emotion, as we have seen in the past couple episodes. But this one definitely took the cake. But at least he had some compassion for his wife, enough to inject her with whatever poison it was and then cut her wrists and just inject the kids or somehow poison the kids and put them to sleep. And I know that's kind of like sick considering that this guy is a killer, but like seeing out all the stuff that he's done in the past couple episodes, that was pretty tame and compassionate. Nosey Nancy had it coming. That woman was all up in Theo's business, and Theo couldn't have that. She just came out at that surprise party and decided that she was going to ask him a question about where he works, on top of bringing up an example or bringing up a college buddy of her husband's that worked at said company that Theo was trying to hide out in. And in doing so, ended up aggravating Theo. So when she was sitting there running her mouth talking about how she basically lied about that chum of her husband's because her husband didn't even go to college, when she turned around and saw that gun to her husband's head, I know she regretted everything that she said. And it was just crazy how Theo just shot her, killed her, and then seemed as though he was going to let the husband live, but then decided to hell with it and just shot him in the head. And the police looked at their deaths as like a murdered suicide type thing. Now, as far as Theo goes, it's funny how Theo works or lives in Baltimore, yet he's doing all this crazy stuff up there in New York. Then he can't give his wife a straight answer when she's asking him, like, where were you? How was your trip? Such and such. He's like, oh, it's fine, whatever. But I'm side-eyeing the wife because the wife really just went along with everything he was saying. Like, even if he can't tell you, like, what he was doing, if you really don't know where he's working, something is wrong. And it was sad that she thought that he was cheating on her. If only he was just cheating on her. If only. Now, Joe Carroll is all upset this episode. And his kind of link to Ryan Hardy is shown in this dream that he has, whereas he is being interviewed by this female psychiatrist and has this guard in the room. He somehow overpowers them, takes the guard's uniform, kills this other guard, makes it outside. Ryan Hardy pulls up in this, is that a Chevy or a Dodge? I'm bad with those like thingies in front of the cars. Like I know Toyota, but I always think that's Chevy. I'm not sure, but it's Ryan Hardy basically driving and picking him up, and then we see him still talking to this doctor, and the doctor's just asking, well, how do you want to die? Now, Joe doesn't pick how he wants to die because he says later in the episode he wants to be surprised. And then when the doctor basically tells Joe, as he's like in his little cage for his little outside time, he tells him, oh, since you didn't pick, you're getting lethal injection. He says, spoiler alert. And I thought that was the funniest part of this episode. Is Joe just brings the comic relief in this like really, really dark series that I absolutely love. But what really gets Joe is the fact that Ryan Hardy decided to decline his invitation to attend his death, basically. And he's a little upset about that. Then we get to Ryan Hardy, who's basically trying to chase this lead on Theo. And the lead basically leads him because he cannot let go of that Manatech connection. So he believes that Theo worked at Manatech. He's one of the employees. And then he gets this address to Theo's like fake house. And all of a sudden, Theo's watching the house, obviously, because he gets an alert, and on his phone, because he has all these alerts. And basically, he and Mike end up almost dying because Theo set this, like, trap underneath the carpeting so that when Ryan stands on it, it blows up. But thank God Ryan was able to push Mike into that bathtub and they were safe. But when the house blew up, all of the stuff that Theo had in there, all that evidence was gone. So then you have Max back at the FBI with that chick Sloan, who I still don't trust. I really don't. And she is looking at the different IDs, and they find Theo's ID. But what they don't know is that Theo is kind of shadowing them. He does something in this program. The next thing you know, he changes every single solitary ID to the point whereas they have a different face on all of them. Different faces, ethnicities, sexes. It's just crazy. And then she tries to enlarge the last one that they have, and that one morphs. So she makes it to where Ryan and Mike are during the aftermath and explains everything to them. And since she was the only person that saw Theo's face, she ends up having to sit with a sketch artist. Now, in that scene with Theo, was like sneaking up behind his wife. I don't know why I felt like he had a knife in his hand. Please forgive me, but I don't know why. I was just like, this dude has a knife. Something in his hand. He's about to like stab her. And when it was revealed that it was a surprise party, that freaked me out. I was like, wow. Because nice going directors and cinematographers and the writer, nice going. So Ryan Hardy makes it home late because he was supposed to be at his house with Gwen because Gwen had this really big dinner with her boss and everything has to go perfect so Gwen could... One that she told Ryan about, but with all of this craziness, Ryan completely forgot. So by the time he made it home, they were meaning Gwen and the boss and his wife were about to have dessert. So I don't fault Ryan for this at all, but all of a sudden the boss decides, because he knows what Ryan does and how Ryan, captured Joe Carroll and everything, he decides to debate Ryan on the death penalty, which it's a sticky situation or a touchy subject outside of, TV anyway. Anytime you talk to anybody about the death penalty or abortion or any hot button issue like that, it always ends up the way it ended up in this episode. And Ryan was pretty upset and basically told this dude, like, you need to get the hell out of my house. And Gwen was all upset. And Gwen was just like, well, why did you go and you put him out of here? And this thing had to go perfectly. It has to go perfectly. And I was just like, I don't know. With Gwen, I don't trust her, and it felt like a setup. But then, on a side note, that boss was wrong because he shouldn't have brought that up, considering all the stuff that Ryan has gone through regarding Joe Carroll. Like, that was not cool at all. Alrighty, so by the time Ryan and the crew put two and two together, because they go on Facebook after hearing about Nancy and her husband's death, and I think Max is on Facebook and she sees some pictures and she sees Theo's wife. They do a facial recognition type thing, and Theo's wife is about to leave to go hang with some people and take the kids to her parents' house when Theo's like, no, you're not leaving. And that's when he does that whole like suicide thing with the wife and like the killing of the children, well, the almost killing of the children. So by the time Ryan and the crew get there, Theo is gone. And basically Theo is on the phone with Ryan. And he basically ends up telling Ryan, like, be careful, Agent Hardy, you don't know me. No, he definitely does not know this guy. And another crazy part on a side note, was that lawyer who basically helped Theo get that job at Manatech because once Ryan and the crew realized that, like, Theo's working for Manatech, and Manatech is, like, a company that's affiliated with the FBI, he had to go through some type of background check. They meet this dude. This dude is crazy and has ears hanging from his ceiling and had killed some people and, like, wants to be famous himself. And I'm like, what the hell is going on with this dude? But anyway, back to Theo. Like, again, Ryan doesn't know who he's up against. Ryan has no clue. And apparently, Theo is not this guy's name. So his name is not Sam. His name is not Theo. Then who the heck is this dude? But thank you guys so much for tuning in. I had to do this review again because it was way too long. Don't forget to rate this video. Hit that subscribe button below and comment. And let me know what you're thinking of this season so far. And also check me out on Twitter and Google+, Sage Valentine. Until next time, I promise the video won't be that long. I was experimenting and it kind of went bad. But thank you guys. I love you all. Bye, guys. Bye.